Hi everyone, my name is Jimmy Smith and welcome to episode number 84 of the Rambler Podcast, where we are passionate about sharing what makes Cathedral Prep the standard of excellence. On this episode of the podcast, we're excited and thrilled to have Mike Mischler back on as a guest, and I have to say, of course, the honor goes to Mish to be the first two-time guest on the podcast. But before we get launched into the conversation today, I'll put a plug in for that first episode. It was number 29 of the podcast. Mish came on and we got to talk to him more in depth about his time as a student at Prep. We talked about his professional career prior to and then with Prep, working here at Prep as an administrator in positions such as the Director of Marketing and Development, the Director of Facilities, a teacher, and more about his current role as the Vice President of Operations. And we, of course, reflected with him on his years of coaching. So definitely go back and check out that episode for more of that kind of topics. But I'm excited to have Mish back on again today. He's going to give an update with us on things currently happening at Prep from his viewpoint on the senior leadership team, as well as talking about coming back to be the head football coach this year for a third stint, which is exciting. He needs no introduction, but I will give one here, a little snippet. He holds the mark for most victories in school history with 214, with an overall record of 214 and 50. His playoff record is an incredible 59 and 18, and along the way, he guided Prep to 16 District 10 championships, 16 Metro or Region crowns. His team made 11 appearances in the state's Final Four, and he has led the Ramblers to 5 PIAA state championships. He's married to the love of his life, Mary Walsh, and together they are blessed with 5 children: Melissa, Villa class of 2013, Katie, Villa class of 2014, Michelle, Villa class of 2016, and Joe, Prep class of 2018, and Kelly, Villa class of 2020. So all that to say, pretty cool also. We're recording this episode on Friday, August 8th, and this episode is going to be dropping on Monday, August 11th, because we wanted to get Mish fresh off of the Prep football team camp that he was at this week and have this conversation. So Mish, without further ado, welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you, Jimmy. This is great. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's fun to get you back on here, talk about some of the things that we'll have you here to discuss, in terms of looking ahead to your third stint. Pretty exciting time.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's an honor. I obviously love the school and I love the football program, and it's near and dear to my heart. And when this opportunity came up, I didn't really think about it, too much at first there, but after a while, passed, and kept talking to Mr. Flanagan about it, and Mr. Smith about it. It's something that I wanted to be able to, if I was going to do it, jump in, with both feet and be totally committed to it. So I have a very busy, tough job here as the Vice President of Operations, but I could always I can always try to find the time for prep football. So my probably the most important person in decision making was my wife, Mary, and we had many different conversations about it, and I needed her to sign off and embrace it too, because it's a sacrifice for her even more than me. So and she did, and understands where we're at. We're empty nesters now, and she's got a brand new job. So we're over at St. Patrick's Church, and so we're in a different era in our lives. No grandchildren yet, so I don't know how long this is going to be. We're going to go year to year, but it's this is something I'm very happy to be coming back into.
Yeah, it's very exciting, and like I mentioned a couple minutes ago, coming fresh off of camp. So I'm sure it's been a long week, and I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to meet with us and do this, after a busy week of camp. Can you tell everybody kind of where you guys had camp this year and, how that was?
Yeah, it's actually my wife's idea as well, but we went to Blessed Sacrament School, so, home of the Bixby Bowl, and to me, the birthplace of Catholic football, and where a lot of where most guys who played in the Catholic League system played their games for many decades, and we slept in the basement of the school, and took over. We just kind of made the rooms like cabins, and I thought it was great. We were able to moved back and forth between the event center and went to the beach and did a couple other activities. That we had a bocce tournament on Tuesday, but we also learned a lot of football and watched a lot of film and did what we needed to do. It's technically it's a heat acclimatization week, so there was no contact. We follow the rules and we don't have contact during that week. But it was still a very tiring week. I mean, the boys I think are pretty whipped right now, and a lot of late nights, and so hopefully they're home getting some rest right now.
Yeah, that's great. Well, and I appreciate you clarifying that. I didn't realize it was the heat acclimation week as well. But yeah, that's fun. Just hearing about the location of the camp this year, knowing that was, to your point, a birthplace of Catholic football, in Erie, essentially. And I'm sure, Dan Brabender will tell us that's not actually correct. It's such and such field, but we get it. Yeah.
As soon as I said that, it's
nonetheless.
Very appreciative of Father Phil letting us, come up there. And our former booster presidents, Jason Bish, helped to get that hooked up for us. So it was a great week. And right across the street, I have to give a shout out to the Shaughnessy's. They own Maria's ice cream, and the boys went over there 3 or 4 times free of charge and got
that's cool.
50 people getting ice cream cones and so several days of the week. So it was a good week. Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. We're kind of talking football, but let's take a step back, and I want to talk to you also a little about the state of the school, kind of from your perspective. Obviously been involved for decades now, and your position on the senior leadership team, you get to see a lot, and there's a lot of great things happening. This is the first school year in which the seniors were freshmen with a co-ed prep experience. So now the kids that are there, all they've known is this co-ed prep. Question for you is just kind of, what's new and exciting from your perspective? How are things going at prep today?
I think things are going, very well. I think our management team is great. I think Kevin Smith has a very good, team of senior leaders that he can rely on. I think they're all, doing a very good job. They all work very, very well together and work hard and long hours. And I think Kevin does a really good job managing all of us and making sure that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. The school's professionally managed. I think he brought that in with his experience with getting our processes in line, and so I think he's got a team of leaders that can help get us there that way. I mean, the school environment itself is, I think, just incredibly successful. I mean, it's you wouldn't have known even the first year when the merger happened. It was interesting, certainly, to walk out. I mean, I've worked here for over 25 years, so it's I didn't really know anything other than just prep, and all boys. So when the girls were in there, it just seemed like a natural part of the process. We were. I mean, the kids are have communicated, and they communicate. They're social. There's a lot of that camaraderie that you see in a school of our type, and I think it's just that part of it's going very well. I mean, I think the faculty we have is excellent. We've lost a lot of legends lately, but teaching legends, but we just need to have our next legend step up, and I think it's some of them are already kind of formulating. I'm seeing some people that have the number of years in there that like a Brian Markley has got close to 25 years. I mean, of teaching, and a lot of other people that have been here for a very, very long time that really kind of define what our faculty is about and what they're academically are going to be pushing, the excellence that we're trying to strive in that area. I mean, it's a different school, in a lot of ways, but it's also the same, and it's the building's beautiful. I mean, I'm not just saying that because I run the facilities, but it's a really cool mix of the new with the new addition and the old with the old tile floors and the beautiful library and the chapel we have upstairs. It used to be a science wing back when I was in school here, but it's I would just encourage anybody out there listening, alumni, to please just come in and get a visit, a walk around, and you'll be blown away about how nice it is now. It's just I think we've done a good job upkeeping the place, and it looks beautiful from the outside. It looks beautiful on the inside, and we're busy getting it ready for opening of the school right now. It's a very tough time of year, not just in football, but that too. So, but you know, and I think spiritually, I think, you know, we're as strong as ever. I mean, honestly, and, you know, we just found out we're going to be losing Father Jason. I think a lot of that credit goes to him. I mean, he was just an amazing minister and amazing, you know, campus minister for us, and chaplain for the teams. And I've never met a man so committed to his vocation and love of doing a mass and a holy and adoration prayer services, and I mean, and everything that he did and brought to it. I mean, I don't know how anyone's going to get married in here. I mean, Father Mike's already got too many weddings, but it's either two people I've seen do every wedding I've been to is Father Mike or Father Jason, you know. So luckily we get to keep Father Mike here, and but Father Jason's, you know, been called to another location by the bishop, and he's going willfully, and you know, and understands all things change in time. So, but spiritually, I think we're in a really good spot because of his commitment, and he was such a likable person and such a likable guy that I think the kids really just really, you know, took to him. And I think that's good, you know, when they can see a priest be a human being and somebody who's you know, able to be, you can be around them and learn from them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the faith component is one of the most important aspects of what our school can offer. And to hear you say from your perspective, you see that as one of the strongest points of the school right now is, you know, very encouraging to me, as I'm sure others who are listening to hear that, because, you know, that is a differentiator for our city, for our county, you know, absolutely. Cathedral Prep and what we can offer in that environment. It's a big piece of life's puzzle is for kids to figure out that faith identity that they have.
I mean, the big thing too, and you and I talked about the other day, is that change. You know, change is inevitable in everything. I mean, so I mean, I'm not. You know, if somebody comes in from the '60s or class of '60s or '70s, they're gonna walk in, and you know, you're not gonna see you know 1,200 boys in you know in suit coats, and it's just not what we are now. I mean, things have changed a little bit, you know. So it's but that same core values that, you know, we try to instill in all of our you know students and staff and faculty and administration is still there, and it's still, you know, a place that's worth investing in by sending your kids here. It's worth investing in by sending your hard-earned dollars in and supporting, and something that's, you know, I think would be rewarding for anybody to do, because you know that it's going to have value and it's going to impact on young people at the end of the day. And I think that's what everybody really needs to be thinking about here. Is we are, to me, the base of Catholic education, secondary Catholic education in the city of Erie, Pennsylvania, and you know, we're going to be here for a long, long time. And to do that, we need help. You know, we always need support, and that needs to be through. Again, encouraging your kids or grandkids or neighbors' kids to come here, and also sending in a check every now and then. You personally would gladly
that's right.
Accept.
And you see the amount of light bulbs that need change around the place, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we got it.
We have a lot of projects we have putting off. So.
And one of the things you mentioned earlier is the tours, coming back as an alum for a tour. One of my favorite stops on the tour is usually when we pass your office, because most people are asking about you, and let's stop in, see what he's doing. I'm sure he's not busy. That's a joke, because Mish is always busy over there. But we always appreciate your time when people come for tours. So it's awesome to hear about, you know, the things that you're seeing from your perspective, because obviously you have been around for 25 or so years now around the place, and not to count even the times as a student and around as a team and stuff. So I appreciate you kind of sharing that with us all. And you know, it's pretty neat. You know, I get to work with you on a, you know, not daily basis, but pretty regular basis. And I remember being a kid looking up to you as the head coach of prep football, first getting to meet you, and now seeing how much just heart and passion you have behind the work you do and the mission here. So when I heard, you know, you were accepting the job, you know, to come back as a football coach, I'm sure me, like a lot of others in the community, were really excited, because they know the difference that you make for not just wins, as you have that pedigree, but also the care and intentionality you have with the boys that are in the football program. Can you talk to us a little bit to share about not a whole length of the process for that decision, but maybe just a couple things that really kind of sent you back over the edge to say, you know what, I do want to commit to coming back. I am here for prep football, and what it was for you that really made that, come to possibility there.
When Coach Cray stepped down, he's one of my best friends and somebody I, value his opinion on. He was our defensive coordinator when we had all the state championships, and he's one of two people I can call as my predecessor, along with Don Hall, because it's been with this being the third stint, they both are my successor predecessors. When he stepped down, it was originally I just wanted to see. He had asked me to come back and be an offensive coordinator last year, which I truly enjoyed. I love calling plays. I love running an offense without the headaches of being the head coach. And Mike always handled the defense as well as being a head coach. I don't know how he did it because it's a very difficult thing to do. It's almost almost CEO, and you have to make managerial and leadership decisions on a constant basis and meet with parents and do the college recruiting circuit and all those things. And so it's just, there's a lot of things that go into that, but I just kind of wanted to wait to see how everything, worked its way through to see if who would step in, if there'd be something, because I believe so strongly that our football program has to be healthy. It has to be one of the main pillars of our school. I mean, it's not more important than our faith component or academics or our discipline and things like that, obviously. But it's something I feel like feeds our enrollment. I think it supports our enrollment. Eventually, it boosts the other sports that are there. It boosts school spirit. I mean, I think all those things kind of really enhance the overall high school experience for a young person, and that's ultimately why I wanted to do it. I'm like, okay, I've got a little bit more energy. I've lost some weight here, and I'm like, maybe I'll try this again. And just to try to blow some, wind back into sales, trying to grow the numbers, and we haven't really seen a big spike in that at all yet. I mean, Coach Gray, just as much as I did, try to recruit our hallways and try to get kids to come out and play and do multiple sports, and which I feel very, very strongly in. I mean, I'm a big proponent of that. My own son played 3 sports every year he was here, and I not only think it's good for the overall experience at high school, but I also think it's important for just overall development athletically. I think you play one sport too much, I think it opens you up for injuries and doesn't really develop you overall as an athlete like it could. So. But I mean, anyway, those types of things were really what I wanted. I mean, it was just trying to, I guess, re-support that, pillar. With Mike leaving, there was a need for someone to step in there to me to try to keep doing what he was doing, which I feel like he was keeping the traditions of prep football going, and but also try to grow it back to where we had it, and. Football's just got a lot of things going against it, out in the community, and numbers are really rough, around here. So, I mean, the next step has to be a youth program, get my youth program back going, but I don't know if I have the energy for that. But I mean, a lot of those things went into the thought process. Again, the biggest thing was my wife, signing off on it and making sure she was okay with it. We haven't seen each other all week here, so I can't wait to see her tonight. But it's those are the big things, but it was more just to me, I wanted to help the school, and I felt that was the best way I could do it right now.
Yeah, well, and I think that heart, as I was alluding to before, even asking the questions, is why people care about you and the program and the health of the school so much is because of what you've done for people and kind of paving the path and doing that, out of the heart that you have for caring for people and taking care of them and stepping up to roles and responsibilities like this. And I think what's also exciting about this year is you got some new faces on the sideline with you. Some new faces, but returning faces, right?
Yeah.
Do you mind kind of giving us a little update on some of the newer coaches you have on your staff this year, some of the faces that are returning that are alums of the school?
Sure. Well, my JV staff is pretty solid. I'm just going to start with them because they don't really get a lot of credit at times. So Mike Cox has been, he was our head freshman coach, our head JV coach, and now he's the head JV coach. But he's doing a great job there. Tim Beveridge is our defensive coordinator. His son played for us, and Mike's son Eric played for us as well. And Chris King is back on the staff again this year. TJ Smith, who's a teacher in the building. Jamarja Hines-Tate is in his second year. I mean, he just graduated, but he's working his butt off, and I'm really proud of him. And then Ryan Abbott has a son in the program, and he's also there. So that rounds out our JV staff. But on the varsity, there's a lot of exciting stuff. Made a splash in the paper. I thought it was kind of cool. Assistant coaches were announced in the paper, but I think the biggest thing is, and I really like this staff. This varsity staff has so far been one of my favorites. There is a great mix of I guess more seasoned guys like myself, but the young energy of these young guys coming on board is just for me is needed. And I mean, I said at the booster meeting the other night, it's like one of my favorite staffs ever, with the exception that Coach Satek's not on it, but and so we think about him a lot, pray about him a lot, and I would love to coach another year with him, but that's the way it goes. I mean, it's just life takes us that way, and I'm hoping he's looking down on us in a way better place, and hopefully he's smiling so far, but we'll see. So anyway, but the guys are, I brought a new defensive coordinator in, Rob Shimrack, who was actually a defensive coordinator on a couple of the state runner-up teams for Wilmington. He actually drives up from New Wilmington every day, about an hour and 15 minutes one way, and so he's heavily committed. He thinks it's a great opportunity, and I know he's doing a really good job so far. And then Jeremiah Conley, I brought back as offensive coordinator, who was our offensive coordinator during that run when we went to many state championships back in 16 and 17, 18, or 15 through 18. He was our guy. So but the young guys that we brought on were Delton Williams, who graduated in 13. He was played at Michigan State, just amazing. He's doing such an amazing job. He's just got a great personality. Both the Roberts cousins, Terry Roberts, it's his birthday today, so happy birthday, Terry. And he played at Iowa, and also had a short stint at University of Miami. He was helping out with our D-backs. Delton's doing running backs. So, and then we have Gene Basham, who's helping me with offensive line and doing a really good job. He's very knowledgeable. He's an All-American at California University of Pennsylvania, and he's just doing a really good job. And the last one is Jerry Roberts. And who's the son of Jerry Roberts, our defensive lines coach, but he went to he attended Bowling Green and then transferred to Arizona at UMass. So he made it around a little bit and played major ball, and he's helping out with linebackers. So those four new guys are really put a lot of energy into the program, and I still got Brian Bauman's still helping out with our kickers. He's a prep grad, and Estes Barnes and Rob Heberly are doing our receivers, and like I said, myself and Jaheim are doing offensive line. John McKenzie is a teacher here, is doing our tight ends, and I already said Jerry Roberts is doing our D-line, as well as Shimrack is Shim's doing linebackers, and Jason Nixon and Terry Roberts are doing our defensive backs. I hope I didn't miss somebody. It's a lot of guys.
It gets dangerous when you start naming names. You don't want to.
I want to give them credit because they
absolutely.
do a nice job. So.
I can imagine that for you, seeing those guys that you did make some state championship runs with. I'm talking about the younger guys specifically now, who now are coming back to give back to the program, right? They're coaching. They're now no longer the players. I'm sure it's probably a cool perspective for you to see, let alone the excitement that they bring to the program, the youthfulness, as you talked about, but also for you as a coach. I'm sure you're really proud of those guys to see what they've done, but now come back and want to give back to the program and help that next generation of Ramblers.
Absolutely. I mean, it is great. I mean, John McKenzie, I think, was the one guy on the staff that played for me before, and he graduated with Joe, my son, in 2018, and so Terry Roberts was on that team. But yeah, them coming back was, I am proud of all of them. I mean, I think it's, they've all had ups and downs, and some just got out of college. Like Jaheim just finished last year, and but some have had some ups and downs in life, but they've bounced back and they've done really remarkable things. Both Terry and Jerry are in the education field and helping out in those areas, and so it's just good to see it. But when you see their personality come out, and it's not changed since high school, but it's more mature, and they're echoing things that I used to try to impart upon them, and now they're doing it and helping me with the younger guys, and that's the stuff that gets tiring in football, is just having to repeat yourself, and these are the things I want you to pay attention to. I mean, somebody who's going to say, hey, you got to get taped at a certain time, you can't wait, you're going to miss for a part, just things were there, and you're not getting away with this stuff. I used to try that, and
right.
And it's pretty cool that way. So
yeah, that's really cool. Well, it is exciting to hear. I had John Sear on as a podcast guest, maybe episode 78 or 79, and he talked about that. Prep just really instills that culture of passing it on to the next generation. He talked about when he was, the water boy for the, Ed Hinkle and those guys, and then he became the quarterback of the Ramblers, and he's playing catch with the kids that are water boys, when he was a senior quarterback. And it's just cool that we have that culture of, you're kind of on the receiving end for a little while, but eventually it's your turn to step up to be that leader to inspire that next generation.
I mean, it is nice, because I remember at one point having to tell Coach Cray when he played for me that, hey, we're going to put you to second team for this game, and I remember him just looking in his face, and he was devastated by it. But that's one of my first memories of Mike when I was coaching as a freshman. And then, same with John Sear. I told him he wasn't allowed to come back on our team bus. He was 7 or 8 years old, and his dad was like, "You can't do that." I'm like, "I agree." So, and I just devastated him. But it's just knowing these guys. I mean, even my son, holding him on the stage for the 2000, the '99 game. He was just born in July, so he was only a couple months old. But I had him up on stage for the go away for the send off rally, and then all of a sudden I'm coaching him, and he's throwing a touchdown pass in the state championship game, So it was those kinds of things it is amazing. I mean, I'm starting to get, we've already passed it up for kids I've coached. I'm coaching their kids, which I never thought I'd get to that point. But Cy would always talk about, I'm coaching kids. So when you coach for 49 years, that's how it goes.
Well, if I'm fortunate enough, I'll be able to say that about you. For me, I didn't have it written out for you to review prior, but talk about your youth football camp.
Yeah.
You're able to offer that for free to the community, which is really cool. I bring that up with this part because my son Braden is going to be in first grade this year, and he just made that cut to come to the camp for free. So he was there Monday, he was there Tuesday and Wednesday, and he had such a fun time. I saw him, Monday was raining, so you guys were in the gym. He kind of talked to the kids. He was first row, like in the circle. You're talking to him, and I just had chills in that moment to see my son listening to Coach Misch, the legend, talk about football and what it means to be a Rambler. But yeah, I mean, kudos to you. I mean, what another great example of just leading the way, being able to have that opportunity because of an anonymous sponsor to offer that camp for free to do that. And we thank him for doing so. But even more so, just you giving to the community to be able to provide that. You guys had a great turnout, great week of work, and just want to bring that up as a kudos. And it's great.
It was good.
Yeah.
It was definitely something we needed to do, and we had over 320 kids registered.
It's amazing.
And it was, and that was like numbers that we saw before when we were charging over $100 for the camp. So at the end of the day, to me that camp was about Cathedral Prep and trying to our brand and help to support our enrollment. I mean, it was 3 days of great football instruction, but it was also a 3-day commercial for Cathedral Prep. And I mean, I had multiple speakers come in, guys that played for us, that were Division I guys that played all over the place, and I can get into all those names, but I won't. But, but it was great. It was really good. I mean, it wasn't just me going up there and saying stuff, and then all the players being there and being participants in it, or getting credit for service hours. But at the same time, it was I think it was a big success.
Yeah, I would say so. At least from the kids' perspective and what I saw, it sounds like it was a great success. So, and I think talking about the community here is a good segue to talk about one of the questions I had for you is, what role does the community and the alumni and the student body play in supporting the strength of this program? I remember going to games at Vets Stadium, and you get thousands of people, and it's an exciting, like every Friday night you're just blocking off, you're going to the prep game. How much of a role do you feel the community, our alumni, and students play in helping your team lead to success on the field? Yeah,
well, this is a point of emphasis that Kevin Smith's been out ahead on this year, and we've, as a senior staff, I think we're trying to get us back to that's the one thing we've always had as a moniker, was just we're our 12th man or our 6th man was what kind of some of my greatest memories from Cathedral Prep when I attended were driving down and going down to States when we went in my first year in I think it was in '83 as a freshman, and going down every single playoff game and just paying that fee to go get in that coach bus and drive. I don't care where it was, and going down and coming back screaming our heads off, and there's 500-600 of us, and there was nothing better than that. And so I mean, to me, the school spirit and the student body supporting not just the football program but all the programs is incredibly important. I think it's inspiring for the athletes that are out there. I think it adds the environment that's necessary. I mean, having the community there obviously is important, and our fans and our alumni and even the people that are rooting against us. It's nice to be able to get them all together in one place and add to something I think is not done very much anymore, which is just putting your phone down, turning off Netflix, coming out on a Friday night and watching a game. And Friday Night Lights is a tradition in our country, and it's a great one, and a lot of hard work by these young men is put in to be able to put a product out there that everybody's proud of, and so I think it's a good question, but I think everybody supporting the team by just showing up to games and cheering and being positive. I'll say that too. I mean, anybody can be negative, but I mean, I think it's being positive and supporting the boys, I think, is something they truly appreciate and really need. And we're hoping, we have our opening game against Erie High, and we're really trying to make that a great event, and so we're gonna be using the scoreboard that you helped us get funding for, and we're gonna be doing a lot of videos on there and doing it's gonna be a different atmosphere. Let me just put it that way. So get there early on August 22nd when we play them. It's gonna be a big game because they have a really good football team this year, and it was a close one last year, and they didn't lose a lot of athletes, and so we're looking forward to that game. But that's going to be, to me, maybe just trying to redefine what we are as a school, and in terms of that spirit. I think we've lost a little of that. I think COVID did that to a lot of places. But we got to get that back. The rally's got to be exciting and creative, and all those things that have to happen that I think are needed. To help the spirit of the school, be what it should be.
And to your point, Kevin Smith did make that an emphasis, kind of an initiative among the senior leadership team. Let's make sure this is a priority going forward. And it's exciting that, me and you behind the scenes are seeing those things come in motion, and the players involved with that. And I do want to give a shout out to Frontier General Contracting with Rob Doyle. So they're sponsoring that shirt that I know you've seen, the throwback shirt for August 22nd game. So any student who's in attendance, who's in the student section for the game, is going to get a free shirt, a Cathedral Prep football shirt, that's giving homage or the throwback shirt to the 2000 state championship team. And it kind of leads to the next question to you. Can you talk to us about that's going to be the 25th anniversary of the 2000 state championship team. This was kind of going to set the season off. It's going to be honoring the team. You guys have plans for the whole weekend involved between the Friday night honoring the team, a Saturday night reception. We're doing this throwback shirt, which shows the white, helmet with the P on it on the front of the shirt. And the back of the shirt has the schedule from that 2000 team, so it's a really cool piece. We might have some available at the Spirit Store too, and we'll see how that goes. But can you talk about kind of what it's going to feel like to see that team recognized? I mean, it's probably pretty unique. You're coaching, but then also you're a part of the team that the school is honoring as part of that. Can you talk a little about the excitement around the night based on that part of it too?
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I do want to mention, I want to get into the 2000 team in a second, but I mean, we're also dedicating the season to Coach Sitek that same night, and we'll do that before the game. But then at halftime, we'll be doing the honoring of the 2000 team, and it was the most there's always going to be. I've never heard somebody says this is the greatest, that this person was the best, this guy was. I don't want to do comparisons, and I'll never do that with my teams. It's like comparing children, but you can't argue that they're probably the most accomplished, of all the teams by getting rankings as high as I have a piece of paper of number 1 in the country from the guy that actually did the USA Today rankings for 25 years. That's a whole different story. But number 2 on ESPN, number 4 USA Today. I mean, I remember being in college and seeing Prep was ranked in the top 25 in the country. I just chills. I was like, I have every one of those clippings. I'm like, this is my high school, and right now, I mean, this is so cool. And if we had playoffs when my senior year, I think we would have made a nice run because we only lost to the 3-6 team in the country that year. But it's just high school football in Pennsylvania to me was just awesome, but the 2000 team, just so many great, athletes on that team and leaders and guys that really, to me, that combined with the 99 team, just like Eric Carlson, Bob Sanders' team, those fellas that came through there, and combined with that 2000 team, rebuilt our program, and rebuilt it for decades now. I mean, and that's, I think Prep had before I came in 98, we had 5 years in a row of non-winning record, and we those teams were so great and so legendary that it's just gonna be hard to ever replicate it. The like you already mentioned, the crowds that came to those games. We probably had the day after Thanksgiving, it was like 75 degrees against State College, and it was a playoff game. There's probably over 10,000 people in that game, just the game against Newcastle, my first year in '98 when we started out 2-4 and we got all the way to the Western Final, and they had a sort of shovel pass on one of the last series of the game to beat us, but just the crowd for that was just amazing. I just couldn't believe it. Everything was televised, and wow. It was just a different day. And the send-off rallies for states in '99 and 2000 were amazing. But that 2000 team kind of put the ghost of what happened the previous year when we lost in the state championship in '99. They put that to bed. And I'm not sure if that team wins. If we won the year before, I don't know. We certainly had the talent, but sometimes tough losses end in big results, and we saw that after we lost to Grove City in 2011. We ended up winning states in 2012. We lost to we lost to Conneaut in 14. We go to states next year, 15, 16, 17, and 18, 4 years in a row after that big loss, So and that was it was nothing we should be embarrassed about from the '99 team, because it was something that that team that we played was phenomenal. They had a 44-game win streak, and going into it. So, but the 2000 team is the one who put it over top, and Jawan Walker crosses the goal line and Cathedral Prep state championship, and we're state champions, and I am sitting there going, I'm 31 years old, and I'm the head coach of this team. I just couldn't believe it. It's all very, it was all very surreal, and I still kind of don't understand how I've been this blessed to be a part of something this great, because I couldn't think of anything more in the world I'd want to do than be the head football coach at Cathedral Prep, and professionally, I should say, but not personally. But I mean, right. But this team is amazing, and it's going to be so great seeing these guys. And I know Ed Hinkle can't come, and because he's a coach, so it's just but we need to do it during football season. So and he's going to be a coach for a long time. So I mean, I'm hoping we see a bunch of the guys, and have a great weekend just to share memories and talk. So
yeah, we'll try to get Ed back for his class reunion next summer.
Next summer, right?
Sure. I'll plug in. We had Ed Hinkle on the podcast last September, so it might be episode 60 something. Go ahead and scroll. But that's a good one too. You get to hear Ed's perspective on the team and that environment and what that was like. And obviously, you're honoring a team from 2000, but to your point, the tradition of excellence that Cathedral Prep football has is what is being celebrated that night. That specific team is being honored, but it's everybody. I mean, if you're listening right now and you played Cathedral Prep football, you know what I'm talking about. You're a part of a culture of excellence, and we're celebrating the program, we're celebrating the school that night. It's just the part that we're focusing on that team. And I appreciate you bringing up Pat Slitek in the very beginning as well, to what we're going to kick the season off with, how we're going to tribute him, how you guys are dedicating the season to him.
I wanted to, that was something I should have probably said during that thought process, but I said it in the interview, and I mean, I don't think I have done a great job of reaching back, and honoring our past. And it was something I was like, I want to celebrate our present, but I also want to, I want to honor our past and our successes in the past. So this, to me, is the first effort of doing that, and it was just a perfect one to start with. I think we should bring the 15 team in this year, because it'll be the 10-year anniversary of them being state runner-ups, in 15, and so we'll probably end up doing that here closer to the end of the season. But just having nothing huge, just bringing people out and really just give these guys, a round of applause for the accomplishments that they did and the pride that they brought to this city. So.
Yep. And, if you can't tell by hearing me and Mish, we're pumped up and we're excited about not just the season, but what this first game is going to signify for kind of this next page of not just Cathedral Prep football, but the culture around Cathedral Prep, this excitement, this atmosphere, drawing that bridge between the past of Cathedral Prep and Villa Marie Academy to the current day students that are here now. That spirit is alive and well, we can tell you that, and there's other things behind the scenes the school's working on and we'll be coming up with soon. But you're not going to want to miss it. Obviously, we put this podcast episode out a week and a half before the first game, so if you're listening, you got a chance to hear this, hear the excitement between Mish and myself, and kind of what we're looking forward to this season. And we really encourage you to come out for the game, even if you haven't been to one in 10 years or however long it's been. Bring the family. It's going to be a fun time. I just have, just the last couple questions here for you, Mish, as we're, winding down on the podcast. We've covered a lot in this episode, but kind of want to ask you just kind of big picture question, about prep. As you step into this next chapter, what's your message to, and I had this written as the Prep football family, but really the Prep Villa family. What's your message to the Prep Villa family between players, not just on football, but on all the teams, the student athletes at Prep, the parents currently at Prep, the alumni, the fans, cover all the bases. But what's kind of your message to the community listening to this episode right now? That's a broad question. Yeah, I know. I'll give you a second to kind of dwell on that for a minute here.
I mean, that's difficult because you kind of work in your silo and it's your sport, and there's so many other things out there. I mean, but I think the biggest thing to me is, and because I coached a sport that's it was in a school where it was all male for so long. I always say I stole this from a book I read. Joe Ehrman kind of talked about this. He talked about love and how that affects and how there is a place for that in athletics. And this day, most of my athletes, when I talk to them on the phone, I tell them I love them. They tell me they love me back, and I mean those are the things that mean the most to me. But I mean the other part of what that book talked about is that it was they were saying building men for others, but in this case, because we have girls, but building people for others, and what that means is we're not just there to learn a fundamental drill or make a tackle or win a game. What we're trying to do is build good people, and good people are going to be good wives and good husbands. People are going to be good mothers, good fathers. People are going to be good, faithful servants of God, and people that serve their fellow man and sacrifice for them, and understand that there's a lot of selfish people in this world, and that's something where our messaging is, which is trying to something when I started doing the funeral home visits back in 1998, it was just me being I have a lot of faults, and one of them is my thinner skin, I guess, but at the same time it gives me I have a level of empathy that I think is beyond what most men have, and so I'm always thinking of how I can make somebody feel better or support them, and so I can't remember who the first one was, but we were like, one of our guys, grandparents died. I said, let's go, and together we'll do something like that, so and go to the funeral home. We're gonna kneel down in front of the casket. We're gonna say our Father, Hail Mary, and our Glory be, and send that person to heaven, with our support. But more importantly is telling, giving that young man a hug and saying you're not alone, and this is why we have faith. And so it goes back to just, the message to me is what we're still doing that. We're still building people for others, and that's the thing that maybe I missed in the first couple of questions that can come out here, is that it's that's what really is what I enjoy, the relationships and the opportunity to mold young men, and I actually have a female manager this year, Maria Brusky's done an amazing job, so and women on my team, but it's really that's really what I think the message should be, and I think all of our coaches try to do that, and certainly our school does that with our faculty and staff and administration. But to me, that would be the message.
Yeah, amen to that. You look at, you start with just the Erie community, not the state or the nation as a whole, but even look around the Erie community and the amount of Cathedral Prep and Villa Maria Academy alumni that are leaders in our community, making a difference, making an impact. And then even, and maybe not as the executive positions, but just being, to your point, good husbands, good wives, fathers and mothers. What we do here at Prep is more than just the education, more than just scoring a touchdown on Friday night.
Right.
It's about developing people to be out there to serve others, to be leaders, to be people that others want to be around because of the integrity and faith and excellence components that the school exemplifies. So, you're spot on. I love it. I appreciate that. It was a broad question. It was a tough one, but I thought it was a good one to end on here. But no, nonetheless, as we close, I just want to say, Mish, I appreciate you, and your service and your commitment to the school through the 25 years that you've been here, the leadership positions you've continued to prove to step up again into, as I read in your bio, the different gaps and different positions you filled in and you've served faithfully, for the school. And thank you for your continued efforts and what you're helping shape Prep to be, and along with Kevin Smith and the leadership team. I'm really excited, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the board too, and the work that they're doing as well. So
Chris Clark's also a classmate of mine. So
that's right.
And Bill Flanagan, so we're all classmates. So,
that's right.
So it's cool that we're all involved. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, cool. Well, all right. Well, if you're listening, get your tickets. Go stop at the athletic office and be ready to support Mission the team on August 22nd.
I think it's going to be an atmosphere that we have never seen there before, and I think it's going to be exciting, and I hope people come out.
I feel that too. Thanks, Mish.
Thank you.